you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Hello, Lost on the Road subscribers and followers. So I was asked the question the other day, what do we do to minimize mistakes? And I thought that was a curious question. Minimize mistakes. Living in a pop-up camper. And, you know, that's kind of a broad question. What kind of mistakes? You know, mistakes in towing, mistakes on this, mistakes on that. So I thought I'd just list out a few of the things that we do to minimize some mistakes that we are worried about. And so there's, you know, four mistakes that to minimize, or four things we do to minimize our mistakes. So I'm just going to go through these and talk about it a little bit. Number one, have a safety plan. I've made a video about safety plans. I'll put that link right here. And it was actually an easy 5. So there's 5 things that we do for our safety plan. But, you know, to list them out, what was it? Make sure that we have our water boiled. Safety procedures on hiking so we don't get lost. Don't walk out in the woods. Can't remember them all. But anyway, check out that video. But if you don't have a plan, a safety plan in place, you're putting yourself at risk. Oh, trust your gut. That was another one. You're putting yourself at risk on things that you've already learned. Lessons learned. And a lot of these things were lessons learned. At least 2 of them, you know, we went hiking and we just kept walking and kept walking and kept walking. And we realized, wait a minute, where are we walking to? Another one that was lesson learned was trust your gut. We went to a campsite that was obviously not a good place to be. And instead of listening to our gut, we just decided this is a beautiful place, we're going to stay here and we're going to really enjoy it. Turned out it didn't work out that way. So follow your safety plan, and when you do learn a lesson, make sure you add it to your safety plan. Number 2, know your limits. This one's a big one. Look, I haven't violated this one because I do know my limits, and I don't try to push myself beyond anything I feel comfortable with. I don't. Water. Water is one of those things that I've always worried about the whole time we've been doing this. I always want to make sure I have water. I mean, it's gotten better. It really has. Now that I've been out here and I've learned things and I understand things a little better, I'm not so worried about it anymore. But do we have water? Is it drinkable water? Do we have the ability to boil it, filter it? So I never exceed my limits. If for some reason we get to a location and it doesn't have the water that we need, is it close by? Are we going to have to drive for miles and miles and miles and miles? See, if we went to Kentucky National Forest, Daniel Boone National Forest, and it didn't have water, getting water would have been near impossible. It would have been 40 miles away, taken hours to get to. It would have been a very tough time. And I just don't want to push my limits on that. I need water, and I'm going to make sure. And so, you know, there are boondockers out here staying at free campsites. That's what we do, stay at free campsites. But, you know, they'll go way out in the middle of nowhere trying to get lost. But their skill sets are a lot better than mine. And I would never attempt that. That would be ridiculous for me to try. These guys are skilled campers, hikers. They know the area, or they know how to take care of themselves. No, my camper is right here. There's the road. You know, I can get to the road. I know where the road is, and I know that way takes me to town, and that way's a dead end. I know my limits. Don't go too far from the road. So, you know, just know your limits. Don't go past what you feel comfortable with. And if you ever want to do that, then you need to learn the skill sets to try it. Number 3, we research everything. And this is primarily when we're going from one campsite to another. You know, security, is it a safe area? Water, what kind of time of year is it? What's the weather patterns looking like? You know, right now we're in hurricane season and we're needing to get to Florida. So, you know, we're constantly researching, you know, what are our risks? How many hurricanes are in the horizon? How far away is the campground from town? So we research everything. Is there propane in the area? Everything, groceries. Is there a Walmart in the area? Walmart, you know, I've learned that if Walmart is close by, you're going to have most of the resources you need. Propane, water. There might even be a discount store. It took us a while when we got to here to this hot campground. Discount stores weren't very, we just couldn't find any. And then we finally found what's called an Aldi's. Again, close to a Walmart. How many times are you going to have to go to town? You know, all these things. You need to research, just so you have an idea of the situation you're in. One of the worst things I ran into when we first started this was, you know, we get to a location and you drive on these old gravel roads and you would think, my goodness, are we ever going to get to where we're going to need to get to? Is there going to be a turnaround? Is the campsite there? Well, the more information you have, the better you feel, and the less risk, you know, getting stuck or getting into a spot where you can't get turned around, or a limb has fallen in the middle of the road. So just research as much as you can. Try to find out as much information to minimize your mistakes. And then finally, Carolyn and I discuss everything. We discuss everything. Even down to, are we going to take a shower today? Today is kind of chilly. We woke up and it was 45 degrees out. And, you know, we take a shower every other day. But if it's too cold or it's raining, we might skip it. Well, here it is. It's not going to warm up. It's just cold. So we discussed it. Are we willing to shiver taking a shower while while we're in the tent? And we've decided what we're going to do is we're going to heat the water up really, really hot in hopes that it will stay hot long enough to get into when we're rinsing, and then we're going to leave the heater on in the camper, and as soon as we're done showering, we can run in the camper and get warmed up. But this was a discussion, and that's not, the shower's not the point. The discussion was the point. I didn't just assume, yeah, we're going to take a shower, and Carolyn was like, no, we're not. We have to have a plan of action. We need to discuss the plan of action, that we're both on the same page and we know what we're going to do. Because let's assume that she didn't realize that I had this whole plan of, we're going to turn the heater on, we're going to heat the water up really hot, all these things, and then she'd have gotten out there freezing to death. And I know this seems like a silly example, but it is a really good example because we discuss everything. We have nothing better to do anyways but talk. Do we want to go for a walk today? If so, which direction? How far? Are we going to walk and risk going out on a trail? Do we need to call someone and let somebody know that we're going to be on a trail? Or we're just going to walk the road today. Going to town to get groceries. Trying to minimize our mistakes. What do we need? Because it's a long trip to town. We don't want to just, run out there and say, oh, well, we forgot half the things we need. We're going to have to go again tomorrow. Everything requires planning. Everything requires a discussion. This way it does minimize the mistakes. So, anyway, I hope that helps out a little bit. At least gets you thinking about how to minimize your mistakes. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.